Hello everyone, Rod Sager here with the PhotoFair. We're going to do another little video on a 6x6 folder. You may recall some time ago I did one on the Mamiya 6, which is one of my favorite sort of classic vintage folding cameras. This one is kind of an iconic camera. This is the Zeiss Super Ikonta. This is a late model. It's the 532/16. One might think the /16 is for 16 shots 645. It is not. Honestly, I don't know what the 16 is all about. This will shoot 12 shots on a roll of 120, giving you a 6x6 square. I like the square because when you shoot this camera, you're always holding the camera the same way. You sort of got to pay attention to your relative edge distance so that if you want to shoot, say, an 8x10 or type of thing, horizontal or vertical, that you leave enough room on either side of the square as appropriate. Or, of course, you can always shoot full frame square shots. But I like the fact that I'm not having to fumble around with this. And particularly on these older cameras where the controls are not as ergonomic as some of our modern cameras, like some of our DSLRs where your thumb and your index finger are used to control a lot of the aspects of your shooting. They didn't really have that kind of ergonomics back in the 1950s when this was made. On this camera, we're going to focus here with this little wheel, and that's kind of cumbersome when you're turning the camera around. The other thing is that your shutter, you really can't shoot this one quite as fast as you can a modern camera. So again, not having to worry about odd finger positions and so on when you're turning the camera into a vertical position is great. That's why I like the 6x6. Other people are going to say, no, we want the bigger piece of film like a 6x7 or a 6x9. They did make a lot of 6x9 versions of these Zeiss Ikons, which were exceptional cameras. There are some folders that are 645 as well, which are a little bit smaller. And there's even some cameras that did both 645 and 6x6, including there was a Mamiya 6 that did that, and I believe there was at least one Zeiss Ikon, Super Ikonta, and maybe more than that as well. So lots of possibilities here. So compared to my Mamiya 6, which is still my favorite old school folder, this is a better built camera. It feels more solid in your hand. Everything is just like really well machined. It really is a beautiful Leica type quality camera. It's just really, really well put together. Definitely an edge over the Mamiya 6. Now, the Mamiya 6 is not a poorly built camera by any means, but they definitely didn't pay attention to the subtle craftsmanship details that Zeiss did with this camera right here. So that's great. Couple of downfalls to this versus, say, for example, the aforementioned Mamiya 6 is the focus. I've never liked the focus wheel. It's way out here on the front here, and it's always stiff. This one was recently worked over by a classic camera tech, and it's smoother than it was. I am moving it, but it literally, like, kind of tears at your flesh a little bit with this steel knurly wheel, and it's just kind of an uncomfortable position to focus versus the Mamiya 6, which is back here. Minor subtle thing. This Super Ikonta right here is really cool because it's got a super bright viewfinder, and there's no way for me to really show you that on the video, but it's amazingly bright, and I really like that because a lot of them are fogged up and so on. The rangefinder on the camera is really, really bright, easy to use. You can really see the two images come together. The rangefinder on this is a little funky as well, though, kind of projecting through this little bit in the front here from the actual coupling devices that are back here, the two dual windows, so kind of odd. This one has the fully coupled when you advance the film, it prevents double exposure, locks up the shutter. You do have to cock it here. It doesn't actually cock the shutter for you. So there's a two-step thing. Advance the film, cock the shutter, then you fire. So kind of nice. Late model Super Ikontas will do that. Some of the earlier ones will not. They don't give you double exposure protection. This one does. So definitely, if you're going to get one of these and actually shoot with it and not just have it as a collector piece, getting the later model has a lot of advantages in just its ease of operation. And again, getting a multi-coated lens, which means I can shoot color film in here and expect to get brilliant results. And of course, with black and white, you're getting lots of contrast, not a whole lot of flare. And that's always kind of nice because those are hard things to correct. You know, pumping up the contrast, that's not so hard to do with Photoshop and so on, but you know, really bad flare, there's not a whole lot you can do about that except suffer. So this one's not going to give you too much trouble in that area. And I've shot plenty of pictures to this, and it really does do a great job. So Super Ikonta, you're getting really just a beautifully made camera. I mean, if they built this camera today to this kind of precision and quality, seriously, it'd be a $3,000 camera, maybe even more. I mean, it is that well made. It is just a finely crafted camera. And that's one of the things I like about these cameras. It's just, you know, it's hard to, you know, honestly, I can't afford to buy every product in my life built to this kind of standard. I mean, I'd be living under a bridge with lots of nice stuff. I mean, these things are just, they're beautifully made. There's nary a piece of plastic anywhere on this camera. Everything is metal, except for the bellows. And speaking of the bellows, this one, I don't know if that's the original bellows or not, but this camera's 60 years old, and that bellows has no pinholes in it. Pretty impressive. So on this particular camera, you're going to set your shutter speeds here with this little wheel. It's a little cumbersome to get your fingers in between these little spots and spin the wheel. It'll always be stiff going between 2/50th of a second and 500th of a second because it's literally a spring that you're tightening up to get the extra speed. And your lens openings are set with this wheel right back here. Again, not real, I mean, it's just kind of difficult, not difficult, but just you kind of got to get your finger in a little spot and kind of spin the wheel. It's definitely not super fast and precision, but you know, and I use these cameras. I mean, I take them out sometimes when my wife and I go out and, you know, walk in the park or go downtown or something. I'll take this thing and, you know, snap, you know, kind of street photos with it. And it's a little slow to operate for those kinds of photos. But you only get 12 shots, so it's not like you're trying to rapid fire succession this thing. But they're a little cumbersome to use in a way. One of the nice things is that I would imagine that people back in the day when this was a kind of a daily driver type camera is having your index finger, getting real good at setting all your settings with the index finger, probably setting your shutter speed, which is by far the stiffest dial, and sort of fixing that. So, hey, it's a sunny day today, we're going to shoot at 250 or 500th, and then having your focus here, and then a quick spin of this aperture dial here. You can't see it. It's totally uncoupled in the viewfinder, so you don't know what speed and lens opening you're at when you're looking through the cameras. But, you know, somebody that's used the camera for a long time would probably get a pretty good idea where they were at. So that's kind of the deal there. Camera folds up real nice and small. You'll see tiny little package, fits right in my hand, a little bigger than my hand. But these things are great. I highly recommend shooting folding cameras. I love them. Anybody who follows my blog on a regular basis knows that I'm a nut for these things. And this is just a great choice. You can pick these up anywhere from under $100 for one that's kind of rough up to well over $1,000 for ones that are kind of rare and collectible or just excessively mint. So shop it good. You'll find these things at PhotoFair. We got one coming up on November 18th, so just a few weeks from now in Newark at the Newark Pavilion. You can go to photofair.com, check out all of our show dates and the show dates for other shows around the West Coast as well. And of course, you can look on eBay and other places like that as well. So Super Ikonta with Zeiss lens, fantastic. A top choice for vintage folding 6x6 camera. We'll see you next time.